Hello, my name is Dr. Brian Raid, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, and this is a video about heavy metal testing. I have a video that's received a fair bit of attention on YouTube about the best test for heavy metals, which is what it's called. If you're interested in looking that up, it's on Instagram and Facebook as well, I'm sure, but maybe more easily searchable on YouTube if you want to check it out. But someone recently posted a comment or posted a question in the comment section about what if can we test for heavy metals if the heavy metal is unknown? And the way that I interpret that question is if a person we're suspicious they might have heavy metal toxicity related issues because they're showing symptoms of mitochondrial dysfunction, lower antioxidant levels, things like that. But we don't know what metal they might have an issue with because there's no obvious history of exposure. They weren't, working in a dental lab, working with mercury amalgam fillings, or they weren't going to the shooting range every weekend shooting lead bullets. There wasn't an obvious exposure. Can we test if we don't know what metal they might have been exposed to? And fortunately, the answer is a resounding yes. I've never seen a heavy metal profile before where, at least through some of the private labs out there that are available, that don't test for every heavy metal under the sun. All the ones that we semi-commonly run into in practice, as well as ones that are just very, very obscure. So the panel that we use looks at all your more common metals like lead, mercury, aluminum, cadmium, arsenic, nickel, tin, and then it also looks at a whole whack of less common heavy metal exposures, things like cesium and uranium and tungsten and a few. There's probably about a half a dozen, maybe 8 or 9 other ones on top of that are just so obscure. They just never come up. I don't have them committed to memory. So it's just really a comprehensive panel of heavy metals. So the testing is really broad and versatile in that way. The only time I ever see single metals being tested is if it's on a requisition form for, say, blood work. It's like, oh, we're just going to test blood levels of lead or blood levels of mercury. But of course, you could test those levels in blood. You can test the levels of other metals in blood too, but as I mentioned in the other video about the best test for heavy metals, blood testing is the best test for assessing for heavy metal poisoning, but to look for long-term accumulation of metals that might be having a chronic negative impact on a person's physiology, then provoked urine heavy metal testing is really the gold standard to my understanding, and that's what we do in practice all the time. So I hope that answered the question. I mean, the other way I could have read the question was, can this test for heavy metals that have never been discovered before? And I'm pretty sure the periodic table of elements is pretty complete. So I don't, so no, if that's the question, but I'm pretty sure that I got it right the first time. So when I read it at first, are you asking about mystery heavy metals? Because that would be really cool, but no, I don't think there's a test for that. But I think my original interpretation, or the one that I just spoke about, is probably the right one. So I hope that answered the question. Thank you for the question. If you have any other questions about this topic or anything else, if anybody has any questions about this topic or anything else, please post them in the comment section below, and I'll answer the question if I'm able to. Also, if you haven't already, if you don't mind liking or subscribing, liking this video, and if you're not already following me or subscribing to my channel, please do, just so you can see my other content that comes up, and I will leave it there.